Hello everyone. This video today is a contest entry. Generalsplatton is running a contest, and the contest is all about paint. And it's beautiful timing because that's what I've been working on my last 2 or 3 build video series. It's about painting, okay? And the contest is for you to make a video and talk about how you've grown as a painter over the last year and what got you interested in changing what you're doing with paint. Okay? I'm about to show you guys that part and show you some models that I was working on that got me interested in that. Alright? And in order to do that, I have to pull the camera off the tripod. So I will be back in a minute. Okay, what we are looking at is my spray booth converted over to a photo booth. I take model photos in here and photos for things to list on eBay. But getting to this, we are looking at some of my older models and some of my newer ones. Okay, these 2 models right here, the Zentradi Battle Pod, that is actually a missile carrier, and he's missing the top missiles because they broke. And I'm going to fix him in a little while. He was completely hand painted. There is no spray paint on that thing whatsoever. You can tell that he's kind of yellowed with age because I built him back in 1990. Okay, so he's a good 11 or 12 years old. Gartan back here was built much earlier than that. That model was produced around 1984, 1985. It is a Revel Robotech model called Gartan. Some of you Battletech people will recognize it from Battletech. It was called something else there, and I know it was a Japanese imported model. Revel had a habit of doing that. But we're not here about history, we're here about paint. The reason I got Gartan out is I want you guys to look at the paint job on him. The camo was done primarily by masking and painting. The same thing I'm doing on the Thunderchild, and the same thing I was doing on the Egg Shuttle. Okay? And you can see my masking and painting was fairly well done. I was using rattle can paint for Gartan, and it was not an airbrush. I just bought that first airbrush after that. But he was done with rattle can paint, okay? And you can see it's very well done. And if you look inside, there's a pilot inside. If I tilt him up and pick him up where we can see it in the light, figures. I'm not getting some good lighting in there. You can see that he's got an eye patch, and you can see the instrument panel was detailed out some. So I did some good work on him, considering, you know, I did that like 20 years ago. Okay. Then I started painting models recently, and we have a couple here. Let me move the SR71 for the moment and bring in my first model I built after my coming back to models. I built this guy about a year ago, a little over a year ago, the Viper. Okay, he was a first completed model in like 15-20 years. I think the paint job came out on him really well. I think my weathering came out on him really well. Okay, he made me really happy and enthusiastic to get back into model building because it came out so well. I didn't do too well with the figure inside, but everything else came out very, very well in my opinion. Very, very well done. So I'm going to put him out of the way, and we'll get back into the models that are currently here. Alright? Egg Shuttle. Thunderchild. The Thunderchild's what got me thinking there was my paint skills had regressed a little bit. If I zoom in on the Thunderchild, you can start seeing some really bad paint. Like right in here, along here, there's some really bad paint lines. Okay, and you can see a really thick paint ridge right along here, and there is a lot of other problems with this paint job. Okay, I had a lot of problems with the paint pulling up with my tape. In other words, I would put some tape down, spray paint over the tape to mask an area, pull the tape up, and the underlying paint will pull up. I fixed most of those so they're not very apparent on this thing. And this thing has so many layers of clear coat on it that it's hard to really tell that any of that happened. One place you can see it happen for sure is right there. That was a massive paint chip. I fixed that paint chip. This is damaged due to the stand I was using. I'm going to fix that and repair that real soon. I know how to fix that. A lot of that just scrapes off. Okay, I'll get that fixed. And here's some more damage due to the stand I've been using on her. I'm going to have to get a different stand. But anyhow, I had a lot of problems with the paint pulling up. I'm having some problems with the paint on the egg shuttle. That's why she's here too. You can see I don't have a crisp line on there. The astronaut, however, I think came out very well. If he can hold still for us. He's on a wire spring. Let me set him down and just zoom in on him this way. Mr. Astronaut was all hand painted. You can see silver bands around his arms and around his feet. There was no masking, no nothing. I did a light oil wash on him to bring up some of the detail, and I mean a light oil wash. I did not want it too heavy, just enough to kind of see a little shadow lines around them. And I think he did very well. But the egg shuttle did not, and there were places where the paint pulled up with the tape on the egg shuttle. Okay, I patched it up as well as I could. In fact, if I zoom in real tight on the tail fin, and if it'll let me, you can see some of those problems where the paint just was not up to snuff on the egg shuttle. It just did not work very well. Okay, so I started experimenting with paint and changing brands of paint. I changed over to Tamiya paint and painted this guy. Tamiya paint came out very well. I think the SR71 had an outstanding finish on it. I just wish the small snap tight kit came with decals instead of stickers. If this thing had come with decals, this would have been a very nice model. But it didn't come with decals. But I did do some masking and painting. You can see it on the cockpit. That came out fairly well. And again, I have been very happy with Tamiya paints ever since I made that conversion. Alright? I'll be back in a minute and let you know with a conclusion. Back for a conclusion. I'm not 100% satisfied with the Tamiya paints. I think my masking work needs a little bit of work. I've done some work on the space shuttle. This is the next model that I've been working on. You can see it is a major improvement to the paint dilemmas I've been having. Partially in part because I learned if I screw up with Tamiya paints, I can throw this thing in a big jar of alcohol and all that paint comes right off and I'm starting from scratch. So there are some benefits to Tamiya paints. The paints I was using before, I could not do that with. I didn't do that to the shuttle. I'll be honest with you. I've been fixing my paint mistakes by hand and they're not looking anything near as bad. I've grown as a painter there. Okay? I gotta keep this short because I want to keep it under the 15-minute limit and not do 2 videos. So I'm not going to ramble on about too much. Just other than my experiments are paying off. I'm doing much better as a painter. Okay? I'm trying further experiments. I've got a good weathering experiment coming up. I want to try the hairspray method. I want to try a salt method, and I want to try some other paint chipping methods. So we will see those in future videos. Now, I'm going to stop here. I want to thank Generalsplatton for having the contest. And I want to thank all you guys for watching the video. Maybe you learned something by watching my videos about paint. Maybe you haven't. Okay? I need to watch some more. I need to get some better paints for hand painting and try some figure painting one time. See how that goes. Because I think I could do that a lot faster than I can do these model builds. These model builds, I sit down, you know, and work 20 minutes a day and it feels like I haven't done any progress on them. But that's beside the point. Anyhow, I'm rambling. You guys have a good one. Talk to you later.